Hello guys. Today we are gonna talk about Eternals. God. Oh boy, this movie. This movie was released this year, 2021. It's rated PG-13. It's 2 hours and 36 minutes long, and that's an important thing we'll get to in a little bit there. It has 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb with about 125,000-ish user votes. And it has, does it have a Metacritic? It's weird. Does it? I don't think. It's weird. I thought this movie would have a Metacritic thing. No, I guess it really doesn't. That is weird. No, it does. It's 52. It's 52 with 283 critic votes. The director of this is Chloe Zhao or Zhao, I think, and she also did um Normandland. The movie stars Gemma Chan, who was also in. What the heck? Sometimes IMDb gets a little weird with some things. Alright, there we go, that's better. Crazy Rich Asians. She was in that one. And then also Richard Madden, who was also in Game of Thrones. And on Rotten Tomatoes, the movie has 47% by critics for 370 critics and 78% by audience people, about 10,000 as shooters audiences. Now, the the critics' consensus is an ambitious superhero epic that soars as often as it strains. Eternals takes the MCU in intriguing and occasionally confounding new directions. The audience says it's a different kind of Marvel movie, but Eternals still contains all the action, humor, and heart that fans are looking for. Yeah, it's about right. So, I saw this with my sister and my wife, Corey. They didn't care for it as much. Corey did not like it at all, actually. My thoughts. I liked it. I didn't love it, and for a few reasons. And I won't give spoilers away. This is just an overall thing here. And the biggest problem with this movie is that it doesn't know how to handle its characters. Like, a lot of characters get juggled around, and here's the thing. You know how Avengers, like, you have a supporting cast and you have the 6 heroes. Eternals tries to do it with 10. Yeah, there's a problem right there. And the problem is all 10 of those characters are decent characters. There is a depth to them, but the way to decide to explore each character, I'm not necessarily against. But the problem is that you never really get a sense that all these characters are in the same room together in a way that makes it feel like they're all together, at least not often enough. And it really hurts the climax a little bit towards the end of the film. It really does. I'm not gonna lie. And I won't say how or when or whatever. I'm just saying that it does. It is a noticeable thing, and it really bugs me. and and yeah, the pacing of the story too, and this is kind of tied into how they use characters. The pacing of the story, it starts rough, but it gets better. I think the biggest problem with the movie is that it doesn't really know what it is, in a sense that it's a new thing. Like, this film, I will say, this film is shot amazingly. This is one of the best looking Marvel movies. Not even from an action perspective, but more from just like a scope in the cinematography and everything. Like, so pretty much what this movie's about. Pretty much there's this group of like beings that are put in charge to guide Earth through evolution. And they're put in charge of a celestial, which the MCU has thrown out there on numerous occasions on these guys. And and it kind of shows them kind of do their thing. And I will say, seeing them in the past was actually really cool because they did a great job of showing in them in their impact on how society evolves. I really like that. I thought those were done great. When they did them in present times, I thought that was done well too. I think my problem, my and here's the thing: the movie does have some funny moments. The action's pretty decent, and there's some good ideas in there that I think should have been explored more. I think the biggest issue I have with the movie is that like I just said, it's how it chooses to handle its characters. And there's plenty of times where there's been characters that show up that I completely forgot in the movie, and they're not bad characters. It's just they would go too long without us knowing them, and it's like, man, and here's the thing, you shouldn't have done 10. That was their first big mistake. I think they should have cut it down to 6 to 8. They should have cut a few out. And some people may have an issue with that because they're all decent, but here's the thing. If you're coming up with weird, kind of ill-timed, somewhat BS ways to be like, oh, they're not going to be here anymore or whatever, it's kind of fuckery. I don't really, I think there's better ways of doing it. And to be honest, I'm just kind of, it's kind of a shame. And here, this is the first Marvel MCU movie to be rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. It's the first one. Now, a lot of people argue maybe Venom or something. Venom, those movies are not MCU movies. Even if they show ties to the MCU, they're not MCU movies. They're not made by the MCU. They're made by Sony. There's a difference. And that's something that can be forgotten about. But yeah, it's their first one. And it's weird because Captain Marvel was certified fresh, but the audience rating is below 60, well below 60, and this is reverse. So what does this movie have that Captain Marvel doesn't have? Well, and I like this movie more than Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel's not a bad movie, but I like this one better. Now, Captain Marvel, the movie itself, you could argue makes better use of the characters and it's a little better constructed, but this movie does establish an identity. This movie does have a look and style that's unique to this. Captain Marvel doesn't. And the characters and actors in this movie have a lot more character and depth than Captain Marvel did. At least consistently, at least. That's the only thing. It's like, they needed to balance it out. If they did that, if they would have found a way to balance those characters better, and pace the story a little bit better as well, it could have worked. I like that the movie wasn't ashamed to do some dramatic stuff, but maybe an extra joke or two might have gone a long way. Maybe it was a little too serious for its own good. Tried a little too hard to be artsy. It did a good job of it, but I think they could have maybe given it a little bit more pop there. But also a big thing is that this is this movie. There's a specific scene specifically where it really tests PG-13. It's like, whoa, it was a long time since I seen an MCU movie get that graphic. Not like in a tasteless sense, it was very tasteful, but at the same time, it's like, wow, you're not messing around here with this movie. My theory is that this is the first MCU movie where the people in charge went to the director, and was like, okay, do whatever you want. Go full bore. Because MCU movies, it has been historically documented that the MCU people are heavily controlling of how the MCU movies are made, to the point where there's been some case of directors leaving and quitting because their vision was being controlled. And I don't think they did that with her, and I don't know why they didn't do that with her. I think the biggest reason why is because they got a lot of big directors that were successful leave, and I think they kind of sense that, okay, we're evolving here. We should bring in some fresh blood and test the waters out with that. And they tried it with her. And I think they probably should have reined her in a little bit, to be honest. I think She's a great director, and I like her style, but I felt like the script and the editing needed a little tightening up. I feel like this movie feels too much like a director's cut, but not in a good way. There's parts of the movie where I felt like, okay, you could probably cut these two characters out, move these things around a little bit. Instead of 2.5 hours, let's do like 2 to 2:15, and kind of maybe lighten it up just an inch a little bit. I think we would have had a more solid movie. Maybe not the best MCU movie ever, but I think we would have seen. And it's weird to see critics like be in the middle of it, considering how like the critic consensus isn't really that negative. But I think that's the point. Like, this movie isn't bad. It's just it needs better. It's not told well in that sense. But yeah, overall, is it worth seeing in theaters? I think so. I think the movie does have some cool visuals that I enjoyed seeing in theaters, and it's definitely one I'll watch again. However, this movie's coming. This is coming out. This was released in November. I saw it like for early December, and it's already almost January. I have not been. I won't be the first man. I haven't been best about posting these in a timely manner, and a lot of it's just due to the fact that, when you see something big and cinematic, especially nowadays when the cinemas were closed for so long, you kind of ride the thrill of it a little bit, and you kind of forget. It's easy to forget, to do what you do, and it's kind of easy to forget to do stuff like this just because life. It's doing videos. This is very, very sideline, but I'm just gonna say, like, doing videos like this when you become more of an adult and have more responsibilities, it can be a little tricky, but it's always worth it. But yeah, next one we're doing. I'm gonna talk about the Spider-Man movie. Don't worry, no spoilers. That'll be the next video. That'll come up before the end of the year, so you'll see that. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. In case you want to chat with me, Mike, or anyone else at the Campy Company, you don't want to use the YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. The first one is we have a Discord channel. You can find a link to that in the About page / About section of our YouTube channel. We also have a discussion tab in our channel as well. You can access that through a PC or laptop computer. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.